Welcome to exclusive diaries for inspiring relationship stories that touch your heart. Subscribe to stay up to date with our latest content and join us on our journey of love and connection.
I confronted my wife about cheating, and it went sideways. My wife and I have been married 4 years and together for almost 6. We have 2 children together, 2 and 3-year-old girls. The last year of our relationship has been a roller coaster of emotions, and without a doubt the toughest year of our marriage/lives. About 3 months ago, the business I worked at closed, and she began starting work. Our marriage was rocky at that time, and since the transition, we have talked about separation multiple times. Since starting work, she has talked multiple times about how much male attention she gets, and TBH, I'm not a jealous guy, and was supportive of her feeling good about herself and whatnot. She'd been a stay-at-home mom for 3 years, as well as definitely having an awkward/ugly duckling phase that lasted basically her whole life up until we met, so I was very happy she felt confident in herself. I started to hear the same names over and over again and began to get suspicious. This last week, we fought horrendously. Separated one day, together the next, just absolutely going through it. A few days ago, our youngest daughter messed with my wife's diary and dumped the contents onto our bed. A phone number on a sheet of paper fell out, and my wife panicked and snatched it all up. I couldn't just ignore everything anymore. I should preface that this whole week prior, my wife and I had came up with a plan together to work on our marriage and move forward with it together. The plan was mostly her design. I have a tendency to be the only one who makes plans, so I wanted to give her the reins, but in the process of doing it, we had agreed that we were still going to be together. However, our goals were to fix ourselves as individuals first and then as a couple. We kind of lost ourselves completely while married and wanted to get our own identities back. We were to live separately to do so, but also agreed that we weren't dating anyone else. My wife swore that she would never sleep with anyone else or date anyone else, and that it was ridiculous, because she had so many other priorities above that and would never do that to me on even the basest of friendship levels, let alone our connection through our relationship. I did an awful thing, and I read her diary. I know, I broke into her safe space, and I felt horrible about it. With all the things she had been saying, being secretive, the number that fell out. Before I read anything, I called the number that had fallen out, and it went straight to the voicemail of the guy whose name I'd heard the most. I couldn't take it anymore, and I read through the last few entries in her diary and discovered that the number was in fact a customer from her work, and she had been texting him. She also wrote that she was planning on leaving me for him and was conflicted about what to do. I confronted her about it when she came home that night. At first, I asked her to tell me the truth if there was anything that had happened while we were fighting and working on things that she wanted to tell me about, and said that I had heard a name mentioned multiple times by her at work and wanted to know if there was anything there. She lied and said no, and that she was committed to working on us. A fight ensued, and since she lied, I knew our marriage was basically over, so I told her I had read her diary. We fought again for another few hours, and then it mellowed out and she leveled with me about a lot of things. It felt real. She told me we'd lost our spark and that it felt so good to be treated like that by someone else. She told me that she did have the desire to sleep with him, but that not enough to act on it, and it was more of the fantasy of it than anything else. She also told me he had encouraged her to work on our marriage and was actually supportive even if he was forward about his intentions of wanting to sleep with her. We put a pin in it for the night and woke up the next morning and started into the arguing again. I was fired up and had one of those mic drop moments in an argument where there's not much you can really do afterwards besides think. I went outside to get some fresh air, and a few minutes later, she followed me outside. Everything about her body language and attitude changed. She leveled with me as a person and told me everything she felt. She felt so powerful as a woman coming into her femininity, and she loved the feeling of being flirted with that way by men, but she wanted to be able to entertain that and still come home to me. In the go out and have a drink or two with a stranger and come home to your husband every night kind of thing. She was affirming in so many different ways that I was the only person she ever wanted to sleep with or be with, and that our marriage needed to evolve. I agreed completely, and things like that had always been a mild fantasy of mine as well, to have a woman as your wife that radiates that kind of energy and appeal. In the middle of talking all this out and the excitement of finally sharing a truth and the realization that we had finally found some common ground, she spills the beans that she had sexted him during their conversations. I was so ready to forgive everything that had happened and move on with our marriage. I didn't think about the fact that what she said meant that when she leveled with me the night before and told me everything about her and the guy she was texting, that those words were also a lie. I know opinions on cheating are back and forth. If there wasn't sex, it wasn't cheating. We both believe that emotional cheating is a thing and that sexting is also a form of it. Even if she actually slept with someone else, I wouldn't have cared. I'm not a possessive person at all. I just can't get past the fact that she lied to me so much in a week. She's known by everyone for being honest to a fault and genuine. It's her most endearing quality. She admitted she knows she's having a quarter-life crisis, and having had one at a point as well. I understand this isn't a testament to who she is as a person. I just don't trust her when I look at her, and I don't know if I ever will again because of how effortlessly she lied. I can't tell if it's because this just happened and it'll get better over time, or if I'll always feel this way and I don't know what to do. Her intentions seem real to work on our marriage. She looks at me lovingly and is putting in effort. I just don't know if I can get past it. I can't help but feel her desire to work on our marriage is because she doesn't know if financially she can be secure without my support. TLDR, rocky marriage week of fighting horribly. Wife lied about talking to another man, found out she wanted to leave me for him. She lied about all of it even though we agreed to work on our marriage. Put my fears at ease and told the truth, then lied about what she said at that moment. And the next day confessed she sent him photos after we made up. Don't know if I can trust her again. Comment 1. From the start of this post, I assumed she was trickle-truthing you, and that's exactly what ended up happening. That's how predictable cheaters are. They also are more interested in trying to ensure people will continue thinking they are a good person than in being honest with you, which is what she's doing when she's leveling but acting very sincere. I guarantee there is more she is hiding from you. This is all an act. She's a mess, and it's starting to get exposed. Ignoring that and trying to believe she's a better person than she is would be a huge mistake. The relationship is over. Now it's just a matter of how long you want to draw it out and attempt to protect her from consequences of her actions. Comment 2. I dated a girl for 6 years, and the ending began much like this. She told me about a male coworker who was flirty with her, and she told me she would reply but not flirt back. I was just like, okay, cool, just don't let him disrespect you, and obviously don't flirt back or anything like that. Around this time, she would always have insanely bad anxiety, and would ask me to come to the bedroom, where she spent like 50% of her day, and comfort her and calm her down. I would always try to ask what's bothering her, but she would just say, I don't know, and would get mad if I asked any further. So it became at least a daily task of mine to go comfort her and calm down her anxiety, and bring her down from a panic attack. I now know she was likely panicking over the idea that she'll eventually have to confess to me about her lying. A couple weeks or months later, she breaks down telling me she went to his house after work and had sex with him, and was also sending nudes to him beforehand. I was devastated. Despite knowing I should have ended it there, after talking, I decided we could stay together, but she'd need to make some serious changes. I later found she was texting him again via Instagram DMs, and shut that down real quick. She would always lie or manipulate her way through each situation and reassure me that she's not doing anything wrong. A couple months later, I went on vacation with family. She couldn't go or didn't want to for some reason, and the day after I got back, she broke down crying again, saying she doesn't deserve me, and after about an hour of me prying it out of her, she admits that she had sex with another guy she knew from high school in my own bed. I guess I was just such a broken person at that point that I didn't even end the relationship. I knew for a fact I would never marry this girl though. The thought of getting down on one knee for someone who did this to me made me sick. Wound up breaking up about a month or two later and have never been happier. It's so easy to see the signs from the outside, but when you're in the relationship it is so much fucking harder. My advice is to end it and find someone else. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you would like to see more, feel free to subscribe.